This video is sponsored by PoketownStore.com, the best place to get yourself some TCGO code cards. Looking for that last card to complete your online deck, or just to get the latest booster packs in town like Crowns in it, for example. They literally have everything, and you can use the coupon code ZapDosTCG for 5% off your order. This video is also sponsored by Cardmarket.com. This is a European platform where you're able to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. I personally use it every single day, and you can use the referral name ZapDosTCG to help support the channel. This video is also sponsored by yourplaymat.com. This is a platform where you're able to upload your favorite wallpaper and they turn it into a beautiful playmat. You can now have 10% off your order by clicking the link down below, and they ship worldwide, so definitely check it out. Last but certainly not least is going to be dragonshield.com. Dragon Shield is the best brand to protect your beautiful cards, and they have the best quality sleeves available, and you can of course check it out by clicking the links down below. They have sleeves, binders, and deck boxes of the best quality around. I use them in every single tournament, and you guys should do the exact same thing. Thank you a lot for sticking around with the commercials, and enjoy the video. Peace. Sup YouTube, it's ZapDosTCG here, and welcome back to our TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get daily Pokemon TCG content, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. Today we're going to be taking a look at the future. That's right, we're going to be checking out post-rotation format. That's right, people were talking about, oh, what are going to happen when Regis are going to be bad, Lugia is going to be bad, and a lot of cards will rotate. Well, I'm here to tell you what the tier list will be with post-rotation, so you can start looking at the future and start, of course, collecting a lot of these cards so you can make all these fantastic looking decks. If you guys are hyped for today's upload, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. It is the easiest way to support the channel, and I'm always super grateful if you would do so. So this is a pie chart from one of a bigger tournament over in Japan, post rotation, and we do see that looks like Giratina VSTAR is back in town, folks. It looks like with of course Lugia being worse, with of course losing powerful cards energies, losing of course all those amazing rare attackers. It looks like Giratina VSTAR is back on top. The Lost Zone boxes did lose Scoop Up Net, but they still are around, and they are performing very well because, as we all know, Mirage Gate is a great card, and of course you can tack in some attackers to counter the opponent's Pokemon. Like we did see that the Kyogre from Celebrations is of course swooping the entire field here and there. There's of course great attackers like Sableye, Cramorant, etc. So Lost boxes are not going anywhere anytime soon because there's just so many attackers that you can Mirage Gate onto. Mew VMAX is probably the most consistent deck in the room, utilizing of course the Fusion Strike system of Genesect and getting your entire setup. It also does not lose a lot of things. Maybe Quick Ball is a little bit of a bad thing, but you of course can rely on Nest Ball or even Feather Ball if that matters a little bit. We also have the new inclusion here. Miraidon EX is going to be one of the stronger EXs that we're going to be getting in Scarlet and Violet, and is going to be allowing you to get yourself two basic lightning Pokemon to slap them on the bench, so you can instantly get a great setup with of course the Flaffy from the Evolving Skies. You're going to be able to accelerate energies, and we also have the way to accelerate energies in the form of the trainer card, the item card, allowing you to, it's like a max elixir for lightning Pokemon, so it's going to be fantastic to utilize that. We also have Gardevoir EX coming into the format with of course its crazy energy acceleration from the discard pile. I know you damage yourself, but you can do that as often as you like. So if you can get the Gardevoir EX out, you can attack with a whole heap of attackers, which is going to be super nice. Then there's some other decks like Darkrai coming back in the format just because of the fact that Mew is weak to darkness, as well as Gardevoir EX. So that makes sense that Darkrai does see a little bit of a resurgence. We of course can play the turbo mode, have the dark patch available, get of course acceleration. You have the Galarian Moltres, which can help as well. And looks like there's so many other 1% in this format. I'm not going to be talking about every single one of them, but we of course will be doing a tier list. And yeah, it's going to be fantastic to of course rank all these decks. We have the tier list right now. We have tier 1, which are going to be the strongest decks in the format you need to look out for or prepare for if you're going to be playing post-rotation. Then tier 1.5 didn't quite make the best deck in the format quite yet, but they might eventually when more cards get released. Tier 2 are just solid decks all around, but they are of course lacking a little bit of consistency here and there and get beaten by a couple of the tier 1 decks out there. Tier 3, still decks that you could play, but probably won't do that well in tournaments, and don't play these. There are like, if you really want to lose, play these. Big shout out to Littledarkfury for creating the tier list over at tiermaker.com. So we have a whole heap of things to look forward to, and we're gonna be getting this video started right away. Let's start off with the new EXs because these are gonna be very, very nice. I'm gonna be putting Gardevoir EX. If we look at this pie chart, oh, where are we at? Nope, over here. If we look at this pie chart, we do see that Gardevoir EX has a 6% meta share and did quite successfully. So I would put it in tier 1.5 for now, although I'm hesitant to put it in tier 1. Let's put it in tier 1.5. It is a stage 2, so don't sleep on stage 2s because this is a very strong one. And we do have the Curlia package, which with the ability refinement can of course draw cards. And we also have a Gardevoir which can do that, as well as having some energy acceleration by your side. So the Gardevoir line is just that good, and you also can have Gallade to fetch a supporter. There's also heaps of different psychic Pokemon you could be playing. If you want to have a little bit of an example of how a Gardevoir list is looking to be like, this is something like it. Hopefully you guys can make see how things are going on here. So you have the Galarian Articuno, which can snipe around, can get energies into play. A nice solid one prize Pokemon. You can keep doing that time and time again to snipe, which is crazy good. You have access to the Zacian V, which can slap more damage for every energy. So that's going to be a solid attacker. Also accelerating energies early on. And you have, of course, there's only one rare candy in here just because the Curlia engine is just that good. You can draw a lot of cards with that. And this is going to be how a Gardevoir list is looking like. There's so many other psychic type attackers that you can pilot, but it's going to be a tier 1.5 deck. You can even like have some disruption element going around with the new Klefki, shutting down basic abilities. That is also a way you could slow down one of the more faster decks in the format. But for now, Gardevoir EX is tier 1.5. Banette, I would put in tier 3. Even though item lock is strong, we did see that item lock was strong with Vikavolt, but the reason that Vikavolt was so strong is that you could get it off turn 1 going second. This is not the case because there's also like a Shuppet in the format which can item lock on a coin flip, but that's not going to be reliable all that much. And having a stage 1, you need to evolve first, and there's so much snipe going around with Sableye, Radiant Greninja that I'm not quite sure if Banette EX will get, of course. It's competitive item lock all the way to the top tables. I'm not too keen on it. Also 30 damage in a format with EXs having like over 300 HP if they are stage 2s, and VMAX is still around. I don't know if the 30 damage will be cutting it. Arcanine, it's similar to the Reshizard in that sense. For every damage counter you can slap more damage. You have the Magma Basin. Magma Base is actually pretty strong. I don't know. I've also put it in tier 3 because of the fact you also damage yourself with Magma Basin, and you also would need a Choice Belt to hit some numbers, but it also cannot get damaged when it's on the bench. I'm putting it in tier 3 because if we look at the spy chart, Arcanine is nowhere to be seen, so that is an indication that it is actually not performing all that well. I'm also putting the Magnezone. I know we have access to like Cheryl plays, and you slap 50 damage for every energy attached to the opponent's Pokemon, but yeah, it is also weak to fighting. You could technically have a fighting type Pokemon in the form of like Galarian Zapdos, but that also works if the opponent has V Pokemon. Not going to be affected on like EXs, so not too keen on how Magnezone is going to be operating. So I'll put these on tier 3 because the better ones are going to be Gardevoir EX and also Miraidon EX. There are some rogue decks that I'll probably put and don't play this category because they probably are just so memey. Like Annihilate has, of course, the way 70 damage for every prize card the opponent has taken. It is a stage 2. So in theory, if the opponent has taken like 4 prize cards or something, you're going to be slapping for a huge amount of damage, and that for only 1 energy. Yeah, it's going to be clunky. You can snipe around. Sometimes the opponent can just say, oh, you're playing this deck, I'm not going to be taking prize cards, I'm going to wait and snipe around with Sableye, so that's what it is. And then there's also Ampharos EX, which is actually going to be tier 2 because its damage output is quite interesting. You're going to be slapping a lot of damage, and you also have access to the crazy Dynamotor Flaffy, which is going to help out this engine quite a bit. And you also have the Miraidon. So these are like new archetypes. I also am a big fan of the Miraidon EX, so I'll be putting that in tier 1 because I think it has some untapped potential. You, of course, with the tandem unit, can search your deck for 2 basic lightning Pokemon and slap them down on the bench instantly. That means This deck is super consistent to get the Miraidon engine up and ready to go, and you're slapping 220 damage. You can also have access to the way you can accelerate energies, and you can then one-hit KO, even putting a 1 Ampharos EX in that deck. If we take a look at how they are consistent, these kind of like decks, you can be playing, as I mentioned, the Miraidon EX, setting yourself up with some Flaffies here, with some Miraidon here and there, then evolve all the way into the Flaffy. You can have a one-hit KO potential monster with the Raichu V, and even some snipe capabilities with the Regieleki. So there's lots of crazy things. You even can add in the Zapdos to snipe a little bit further. I don't even know if the Zapdos rotates or not, but yeah, easy way to set up, and you have ways for crazy acceleration. So this is an item card allowing you to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, if I remember correctly, and then you can accelerate 2 lightning energies. I really want to know right now, because these are like cards that are going to be so powerful. Definitely that item card. Let's just check around Scarlet and Violet base sets. Can we find it here? Definitely over at pokebeach.com, the best website, of course. Scarlet and Violet pre-release promos, more arts, okay, cards fully revealed. Okay, it's over here. It is that powerful item card that we definitely need to take a look at, because of the fact that that's going to be helping you out. Item, let's go. Items, Ultra Ball is also seeing a reprint, Rare Candy, Energy Switch, Potion, Palpad, Nazball, nope. Oh yeah, it's Electricity Generator. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 basic lightning energy cards and attach them to your bench lightning Pokemon in any way that you like. This is so strong that it helps out these lightning decks quite a bit. Definitely if you're having like a high amount of energies, as we see in a deck like this, you're going to be able to accelerate energies onto your field as early as the first turn, going second, so you can technically donk people with Miraidon EX. You can tin out the deck because you use Miraidon, tin out the deck with some Pokemon, you play another Miraidon, tin out the deck with some Pokemon, have your full setup, and then play the item cards. And because your deck is tinned out, you're going to be able to accelerate energies, and then boom, out of nowhere, you can, of course, one shot. You can slap 220 going first, if you go second and it's your first turn. So that's why I'm putting it in tier 1. You have that donking capability just like you would with Mew VMAX. Talking about Mew VMAX, it's time for us to be respecting Mew VMAX and put that in tier 1. And the reason we're putting this in tier 1 is because of the fact that it has some crazy speed going with it. You can draw your half of your deck with the Fusion Strike system, and it doesn't lose all that much in the format. I know Drapion is still a thing, but as mentioned, Judge is still around, Path is still around, so I think I'll put it in tier 1, not doubting about that at all. Next is going to be some Lost Zone boxes. Lost Zone Giratina has proven itself here over in the pie chart. That is going to be going toe-to-toe with a lot of these decks, and that's why we're putting it in tier 1. Giratina, maybe even better than Mew VMAX, because of the fact that Giratina VSTAR doesn't have any single weakness, and Mew VMAX is weak to Drapion. So let's put that over there. Moving forward, there's more Lost Zone boxes. I think the Goodra one, I don't know if the Goodra one is going to be good, because Mew VMAX will be seeing a huge uptick in play. Miraidon, you have Raichu to one-shot a Goodra out of nowhere. So I'll put that in. All these Lost Zone boxes are having something good with them. I'll put it in 1.5, the Goodra one. Also the one with Zamazenta. Zamazenta has, of course, the metal typing going for it, but I'm a bigger fan of the Rayquaza build, to be honest. But it's probably going to be the same thing here. All these Lost Zone boxes, let's just get them all out of the way. Maybe the Charizard one was a little bit less good. I think the Rayquaza build is, yeah, Rayquaza build gets removed because of the fact of rotation. Okay, so that's what it is. Let's put all these Lost Zone boxes in tier 1.5. Lost Zone box is just great all around. Moving forward, let's talk about, I would talk about Palkia VSTAR in the sense that it uses the turbo engine, and the problem is that Miraidon is that good, so you get slapped with weakness, but it's still a strong deck. I'll put it in tier 2. You have the Mew from Celebrations to, of course, dig a little bit through your deck, and you also have Bibarel as a way you can draw more cards. And even though Inteleon engine is gone, you can still play Cross, which is Irida, all that good stuff. Moving forward, let's talk about Rotom, tier 3. It did see a little bit of play here and there, but it's not that great. Darkrai gets pushed all the way down to tier 2 on the higher end of tier 2. Before, it actually was tier 3, or the bottom of tier 3. It actually is better because Gardevoir is weak to darkness, as well as Mew VMAX being weak to darkness. So puts Darkrai all the way in tier 2, maybe even tier 1.5. It depends on how the builds are working out, but It does look pretty good. Lugia is no longer around. Palkia also gets a huge slap in the face, which was a better, actually a great matchup for Palkia against Darkrai. So let's put it in tier 1.5, respecting the pie chart over here that is actually doing some stuff here and there. There was also Shadow Rider. Are we putting it tier 2? It has a high amount of hit points. There is, of course, ways you can accelerate energies with the Underworld Door. And it is still a solid archetype. You even could slap in a Radiant Eternatus in there so you can have a better setup. So I'll put it here at tier 2. Okay, moving forward. There are a lot of Arceus builds over here. Where do we put Arceus? Arceus, I'll put it in tier 1.5. You have Flying Pikachu for the Lost boxes. You have the Hisuian Decidueye, which can help out against Miraidon, which is weak to fighting. So, yeah, it's just sort of a counter box. Let's put it over there. And Arceus with the Drapion VSTAR. This probably just means Drapion. I don't know how to feel about this one. Drapion VSTAR, I don't think it's good because there's going to be a lot of decks playing switch cards, right? Yeah, switches, escape ropes. Mew also plays that, so nah, not too keen on the Drapion VSTAR over here. But it's still Arceus. You cannot put Arceus below tier 2. I'll put Arceus with Giratina is interesting. But it will have issues to, yeah, you can of course KO with 280. You can also, yeah, 280 is going to be the number, but some of these EXs will have more HP, or VMAX with an Oricorio might have, like the Mew VMAX with an Oricorio will be a huge issue for Giratina VSTAR. Arcdura, I'll put all these Arceus builds in tier 2. They're all good in their own right. None of them stick out to me. Like Arceus, like Arceus with Gengar seems nice because you hit weakness against the Gardevoir and Mew, but I'm not too sure. I think Arceus with Flying Pikachu is probably the best way to go about it, seeing as you can of course punish the Lost Zone boxes. Unless they are playing Giratina, then you get one shot, but you can also have big Parasols in your list. I think this is the better Arceus build out of the bunch, and all the other ones belong in tier 2 for now. I know a lot of people will be trying out Arceus to make it work in this format, but for now, this is what it is. Next, Lugia VSTAR, the single strike box. I think I like the single strike box a lot. I know Lugia is still going to be knocked around by the fact that it loses powerful Cars energy, but you can still make the deck work with single strike energies and earn up vitality to reuse those single strike energies. You shuffle them back in the deck and you can still slap for a huge amount of damage. The downside is that Lugia VSTAR by itself is going to have some issues setting up because capture energy is gone, and you also need to evolve one of your main attackers. You might have like Tyranitar V, I would say, which you can set up with like Choice Belt and some single strike energies. That could be the case. You have Darkness Pokemon, which you can set in your deck. You have Fighting type Pokemon, which you can set up in your deck. So these are like things you have to think about when Lugia is going to be built here. Single strike is going to be the better way. Even though it's like not tier 1.5 or tier 1, it's still going to be a solid deck. Even though it only represents like 1.7 out on that chart, it is still a deck for me. And not a tier 3 deck, definitely not, because Archeops is strong, and of course single strike energies are around. You can even like have double turbo energy. Tornadus VMAX is also a way you can be piloting for more additional damage output, and as soon as like better special energies come out, the better it will be. Lunatone, is there still too much snipe around, like with Sableye stuff, as well as Cramorant being able to be the better way you can have a one price Pokemon. I'll put them tier 3 for now. Next up is some sort of, how is this Pokemon called actually? Let's check that out. This is like a grass V, or actually a grass EX Pokemon. Let's see here, what is the name? It actually slaps more damage for every retreat cost the opponent has. Okay, can we find it? It's a grass type for sure. No, it's not over here. Moving forward. Too many cards to think about. Okay, here it is. It is called Spidops. Yeah, Spidops is the name. Your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost is 1 Card's energy more. So even though we lose Galarmine, this is going to be a way you can improve upon the opponent's retreat cost. And you're slapping 90 damage plus 30 more for every energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So that compares really well with Leafeon VMAX. If you can get the Leafeon VMAX set up, you're slapping 60 damage for every retreat cost the opponent has. If you can have a couple of these set up, that's going to be a one-hit KO potential. And the Leafeon V also accelerates energies, so you can have a turn 2 slap if you can get like Battle VIP Pass, Nest Balls, and get your setup going, and then evolve all of these fellas. You might have a reasonable Pokemon. Fire-type Pokemon are not that hot right now. Yeah, pun intended. The only thing you can see is like Radiant Charizard, so this deck is actually pretty interesting. I'd put it in tier 3 for now, but it could be better when time moves forward. There is Urshifu. Urshifu is nice, but all of these Pokemon decks that have like weak HP Pokemon will of course play that Mana Fee. So, and they have Level Ball, they have Battle VIP Pass, or even they have Nuzball to search it out. So Urshifu is still a strong deck, struggles against Mew, struggles against Giratina, and it's probably going to be a little bit too slow, but it's still a solid deck because Urshifu can snipe the bench and also hits weakness against Miraidon. Single strike Urshifu with Houndooms, that already had issues with Meloetta donks here and there, also is having issues against like something like a Judge coming along here and there. Tier 3 for me, it wasn't good now, I don't expect it to be better because Psychic type Pokemon are still strong in the form of Gardevoir and Mew EX, actually Mew VMAX. Miraidon, if you could still possibly accelerate energies turn 1 and then the second turn start swinging, but how do you continue on after that? I know there's a fighting card that allows you to accelerate energies, but it's not the best thing in the world, so I'd be putting this in tier 3 unfortunately. Zoroark box, I don't know if the time is ready to be playing Zoroark box. That we lose a lot of our crazy attackers and the format gets widened up, also going to be tier 3 for me. Sylveon is a psychic deck, but there's better psychic decks out there. I probably wouldn't play Sylveon, even though like he hits Urshifu for weakness I suppose, and the Miraidon, it's not going to be that great. Hisuian Arcanine, also wouldn't play this. Zoroark VSTAR is a solid tier 2 deck because it is good at racing against multiple prize Pokemon. The cool thing is you can chase down specific Pokemon, KO them. The bad news is that you have a low amount of hit points and you also rely on having bench damage, and that means like Sableye loves to snipe you around, so tier 2 for me. Palkia with Kyogre and stuff, I wouldn't play this. What is this? Doesn't look too consistent to me. Moving forward is Palkia with Ice Rider. We lose the Subble engine and Palkia Ice Rider with like, this is also probably a tier 2 deck because you can be playing the turbo mode with of course the barrel and cross which is an Irida and all that good stuff. So that's, where's our other Palkia list? Did I remove it? Lots of Arceus. Oh yeah, here's our other Palkia. Maybe we can swap them together here. Then Pure Ice Rider. Pure Ice Rider is gonna struggle a lot against that Zamazenta from the Lost boxes. Does have a high amount of hit points, but could get. It already had a bad Mew VMAX matchup, and a Giratina matchup is also not that great to be honest. If you're running like the weak HP Mews or DB-Doos, they could be swapped by, actually slapped around by Cramorant. So I'd be putting it in tier 3. It's better to have the Palkia in there as well. Gengar, pure Gengar with Houndooms, has a great time against Mew VMAX. Not that great, although you could slap, yeah, it's not that great against the Lost box since they can attack with Cramorant, KO your Houndour, and then they could instantly KO your Gengar. But Gengar does have the typings. Maybe I'll overestimating Gengar here. Let's see here, Gengar. Don't see too much of Gengar around, so maybe just tier 3 for me. Maybe it's just better to combine it with Lugia, I suppose, instead of Houndoom. A Raikou deck, I don't know. Raikou with like the Fluffy and like maybe one Miraidon. It's better to, it's just, I don't even know what the pure Raikou deck would be. Maybe they're playing the Sky Seal Stone, maybe they don't. Okay, Urshifu having of course the Darkness package in there as well to counter against Mew VMAX. Interesting. As mentioned, Lost Box runs Mana Fee, Miraidon runs Mana Fee, Gardevoir runs Mana Fee. It is just caught in the crossfire, and Urshifu wasn't that great to begin with. In the current format, even though things get slowed down a little bit, it is on the low end of tier 2. Radiant Eternus, that's probably going to be paired with the Littledarkfury VMAX or Flying Pikachu. I probably wouldn't play this post-rotation, to be honest, because yeah, what are you gonna do? Get a VMAX out and then get slapped by a Lightning Pokemon or Mew VMAX or anything else to just get the KO on you? Fluffy boxes. Fluffy boxes probably run Miraidon, so that's what it is. Palkia with Kyurem. Problem is that we're losing a Rangaroo. Problem is we're losing Rotom Phone. We do still have Switch Cups, I suppose, but yeah, put it in tier 3. I'm not a big fan of Kyurem right now. And then there's Urshifu with Lugia. I don't even like with Rapid Strike energies, back-to-back GMAX Rapid Flows, I suppose. I'll put that in tier 3. It does not seem like you want to have one-hit KO potential. I know you could like snipe around time and time again, but if they have the Manaphy, maybe you can boss the Manaphy first and then have GMAX Rapid Flow, GMAX Rapid Flow. But in that sense, you're weak against Mew VMAX. You're weak against the Gardevoir EX because they have Manaphy in time. And then there's Lugia with Slacking. Slacking slaps a huge amount of damage. You can have the Choice Belt up on there. It's a Lugia deck, but it's a little bit less good. So this is what it would look like. So post-rotation format in 25 minutes here being done here. So this is probably going to be the way the format develops after we get Scarlet and Violet and the rotation hits. So what can we conclude? Even though we lose Scoop Up Net, it's going to help Lost Box more than it affects it, because Sableye can now spread without worrying about the fact that people can scoop up the damage, which is awesome. Also, one of the better, the last good matchups, Regigigas is nowhere to be seen, so Regigigas no more on the deck, which is great. You have the Giratina package, which can allow you to one-hit KO anything in existence. If you run Lost Vacuum in that as well, even if Mew VMAX has a Parasol, you can just snap it, insta-KO it, and that's going to be fantastic. You can even Torchon the Giratina into play, so you don't give up 2-price Pokemon in the form of a Giratina sitting on the bench. Miraidon is surprisingly good and fast because you have the way to accelerate the energies, and you have the way to search out your basic Pokemon. So consistency is there. Same for the Mew VMAX, is still around. Doesn't lose all that much, and it still has Echoing Horn and the place it needs. Maybe you can play Pat and Judge. Be careful of the Drapions here and there. For tier 1.5, I have some other Lost Box variants. Maybe you're playing the Radiant Charizard build, maybe a Goodra build even, and these are still around. Probably the best version is going to be Giratina because you have the better options to one-hit KO the big EXs as well. And then there's Gardevoir, also a new introduction into the format, still 1.5. I know like Lost Boxes have issues against Klefki, but they could be attacking in Cologne, canceling Cologne to fix that issue. You could also attack it in some escape ropes to, of course, help out against that issue as well. Gardevoir is great. Once you get it out, you have infinite energy acceleration, which is going to help out a lot of the damage output. You can attack with the Zacian V, the Psychic one. You can attack with Articuno to snipe around. It's going to be an interesting deck for sure, and has a high amount of hit points. Mew VMAX is going to have a little bit of an issue to one-hit KO the Gardevoir EX. You only have that many tablets, right? Although you damage yourself, you can have a way to, of course, heal that. You can maybe play, I don't know, damage pump or whatever to move around some damage counters here and there, but maybe have multiple Gardevoir EXs out, because this is just a 2-price Pokemon. Don't forget, Arceus will find a way to just counter the meta as always. There's Drapion around. You can be playing the Hoopa. You can be playing sort of other different Darkness Pokemon. Talking about Darkness, Darkrai EX, actually Darkrai V-STAR returns to the format. So yeah, that is my conclusion on post-rotation format. If you guys were hyped for this video, if you enjoyed it, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. Let me know your favorite deck down below. Did you feel bad when the Lugia dropped down from tier 1 all the way to tier 2? Let me know. I want to hear your opinions down below. Which deck are you going to be mastering post-rotation? I want to hear all that down below. Go check out the sponsors, PokemonStore.com, the best place for TCGO code cards. Use the coupon code ZapDoesTCG for a whopping 5% of your order. Go check out cardmarket.com. If you're a European player, you can buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. Use the referral name ZapDoesTCG. There's Dragon Shield for people from the US and Europe to, of course, buy sleeves, binders, and deck boxes. Links down below. And also, of course, check out the Dragon Shield app to, of course, make sure you can, mark your collection, which cards you already have and don't have. Then lastly, there's yourplaymat.com to, of course, create your own custom playmat from scratch. You can, of course, get 10% off by clicking the link down below right now, and they ship worldwide. So upload your favorite wallpaper, your own unique logo or design, and they turn it into a beautiful playmat. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day. I am very excited for the rotation to happen, and I'll be seeing you guys sooner rather than later. Thanks for watching. Peace.